that's self-sacrifice.
Trying to be a martyr for what?
Listen, because as Black women, we really have learned that that's the thing. We martyr ourselves. We martyr ourselves to our family, our jobs, the community, all these places that we feel like we have to die to in order to be seen, heard, felt, loved.
And that's what I call self-betrayal. We talk about the betrayal and relationships from other people, but what about when you betray yourself? What message are you sending to yourself about how you care or don't care for you?
Yeah.
And then there's this internal war. We look good, got the makeup on, smelling good like you do right now.
Girl, she on, honey, write me down.
And then all the while, you're saying yes to things you don't want to say yes to.
Yeah.
All the while, you're tired, exhausted. Sometimes even now, if I'm in the bed, everyone in my house is like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
What's wrong? It's a Saturday. Can I chill on a Saturday?
Yeah, yeah.
But my grandma was up on a Saturday doing things, and that was me.
Yeah.
And so I've really had to redefine self-care. That's what I hope people walk away from Habits for Healing, Chapter 1 about self-care. It's called selfish time. And one of the ways that I teach you can create selfish time in your life is a drive. I couldn't wait to get in the car and drive the hour here.
I love that story that you tell in the book. Yeah.
Yes, I'm from the hood, so I love me some Dave East. I love me some Nas, some Jay-Z. I don't listen to them in the car with my son and my daughter. When I'm in that car...
Oh, I'm a terrible auntie. I listen to all the stuff.
We talked about that.
He listen to all the stuff. He be like, turn on the rap, BB.
Right. I do all of that. I'm listening to all the things. I'm having all the conversations. You can't have my best friend on the phone at home.
Yeah.
But in that car, we talking and we doing our thing. That's self-care.
Yeah.
It's not just the nails and the hair and the spa. It's the 5 minutes you get to sit and sip your coffee. That's self-care for me. It's also boundaries, which I talk about in the book as well. We don't always see boundaries as a form of self-care, but I do.
Oh, no. I got something to say. Can I say something? I love when you said in the book, we don't talk enough about the grief that comes with doing what's best for you.
There it is.
Baby, that was a bar.
That
was a bar. I said, oh, that's good. We don't talk about the grief that comes along with with doing what's best for you.
Yeah, just because it's good to you doesn't always mean it feels good to you to do it.
Yeah.
It might be good for you, but it doesn't always feel good to you.
Yeah.
And so saying no to someone you always say yes to, you know, leaving a relationship that looks good on paper, that your friends love and admired and call relationship goals, and then you're dying inside because your purpose and calling is not identified. You don't feel seen, you don't feel heard, you're not aligned, you're growing apart. That's a hard decision.
Yeah.
We don't talk enough about when we say no, when we leave, when we exit, when we set the boundary, when we practice self-care. When I say, I can't come to your basketball game, son, because I'm tired. And he's like, but I want you to see me. I need to stay home.
Yeah.
Right?
That's so good. That's so good because I look at all of you all who are my friends who are mothers and the deep sacrifice that comes along with motherhood, that comes along with being wives. When you are tethered to somebody at all points of the day.
Yeah.
And I realize that there is a luxury that comes along with the freedom that I have, right?
Yeah.
And the sacrifice that we really don't talk about of being a wife and a mother, you know, and what that brings. And to say no, it's like it just sends this like tremor throughout everybody.
Yeah. In the book, I also talk about how I had a client who never heard her name. She was always somebody's mom, somebody's babe, somebody's sis, somebody's daughter, and never heard her name. It's important for us to hear ourselves, to see ourselves, and to be seen. But I also want to make it clear, being a mother and a wife or partnered or whatever isn't the only cause for self-care. You can be single and still need your time, your money, your energy. I see a lot of people who are single doing a lot of the things they don't want to do because they feel like they can, because they don't have anyone to go home to or money or whatever. But that's not so. Your self-care is still relevant.
Let me tell you 2 things I want to say to what you just said. Okay. One, Marsha, my mama, she would be in my house, in the house growing up, talking about, oh, my name is not Mom. It's Marsha. I don't want to hear nobody calling me Mom today. My name is Marsha. Not today. And so now even when I call her Marsha, I'll be like, girl, that's what we on today.
Right.
But the other thing, you know, that you speak to is the part of being single. And I truly believe that no is a complete sentence.
Absolutely.
You know, and you can exercise your no. And there's been so many moments over the last couple months that I have had to exercise my no. I have turned down national shows because I'm like, no, not right now. I'm not there for that.
I love that for you.
You know, and I've turned it down because I'm like, right now that doesn't feel like that aligns in my spirit. And I want to show up every time I show up as the best version of myself. And that's what you teach.
Yeah. I talk about also how difficult my grandmother was during certain seasons in her life. She was moody.
Yeah.
She was anxious. She was, I have journals that date back to when I was 13, 14. And I wrote, she hates me. She hates me. The woman hates me. I don't know why I'm here.
Yeah.
And I realized as I matured that she just needed some care.
Yeah.
We would go away and I would be like, who is this woman? Laughing and singing and joking. And I realized she was out of survival mode.
Yeah.
I think I wrote today, actually, depending on when you see this, you deserve to experience life outside of survival mode.
Yeah.
You deserve to not always be anxious and fearful and running on empty and burn out and all of the things that we say, all of the reasons we go to therapy, all of the reasons we do yoga, just to go back home to the same thing.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I wrote Habits for Healing is because healing, in my view, is a series of practices, choices, decisions, habits that contribute to you being whole. If you go to therapy and you're processing things and you're coping with things and you feel good and go back home to the same thing, then what?
Yeah.
If you leave the church house, you done prayed, you done shouted, done all the things, and your environment is the same, it's going to inspire the same version of yourself that went to church in the first place for the relief. We have to put the practices together. And I love being able to create a resource for people to identify what that looks like every day.
Yeah. Talk about the practice. You had to change your practice.
A lot of
And there was a moment that you had to stand in the mirror every single day and tell yourself that you love yourself.
Yeah. I said that was actually my first introduction to self-love. You know, back in the day, I think it's Louise Hay. She had an amazing practice.
Jada's high-fiving you from over there. I already know it.
She had an amazing practice around loving yourself. And a lot of people do it. Sometimes they call it mirror work.
Yeah.
Where you're in the mirror and you're saying all the things that you needed. And that worked for me. I've always been cute, chunky and all. I always had hair.
Cute girl. Listen.
Always had the things. So for me, it wasn't enough. I was doing the practice and I still needed to go further. What I realized from Dr. Tama is she said, and this was years later, obviously, in a podcast, she said, if you loved yourself, some of the things that you've been deliberating over would be an easy choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, well,
yeah.
I'm sitting here deliberating over my own time and energy.
Come on now.
I'm deliberating over my money when it comes to family and friends. I'm deliberating over 15 minutes to myself.
Yeah.
And I realized that I had to really change that practice. And so now I say every day, what do I need? I still do the mirror work from time to time, but now it's what do I need today? When I'm moody, because I get moody too.
Yeah.
When I get anxious, because I've suffered from anxiety as well. What do I need? What do I need in this moment? What do I need in this relationship? What do I need in this friendship? And that is the way to love yourself.
Hey, Vault family, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this clip, make sure to check out our full interview on our channel at Vault Empowers Talks. We don't just scratch the surface. We dive deep into the lives of some of the world's most influential leaders and change makers. Don't forget to like, to comment, and be sure to subscribe for more inspiring conversations. See you next time.